Yes, sir. You just found it. Intercourse with you. Let's chat. Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I am your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you, discussing a plethora of subjects, from the politics to more lighthearted topics like dating. Of course, we're going to be doing our reactions to the Pop the Balloon series. There's a few other topics out there right now that is worthy of a discussion. So we're going to try to tackle it all. We will definitely try to tackle it all. With that said, we are going to take a slight intermission while I get myself sorted here. But I do thank you guys for joining. For those who are not connected to the podcast, I ask that you like and subscribe. It's that button on the bottom of this screen. Just click, and that way you'll stay up to date with everything that we have going on here at the Intercourse Show. We welcome many different voices on various topics because we want to expand the viewpoints and the vantage points of the conversation. So with that said, pardon me for a second as we take this little intermission, and we will proceed to start the show. That is a great segue into the show. Today, we are going to start off by discussing Trump's speech last night addressing Congress. Apparently, this is the talk of the town right now. Trump did his first address to Congress last night, where he addressed both parties, both the House representative as well as the senators. And it caused a little bit of controversy, as some of the Democrats were not exactly happy to see him and not exactly supportive of some of the points that he was raising. So with that said, let me go ahead and share just a short clip of some of the highlights. I do have some opinions on that. Not that we'll dwell on politics a lot on this show, but we will do a quick clip just to kind of cover it, as it was newsworthy. So let's go into that now as we speak. This is Trump.
The age of America has only just begun.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Okay, this was one of the bigger points in the show last night. Now, with this, I do have to say I did not like how this looked. I was not a fan of how this looked. This looked extremely bad for Al Green. Now, this guy is a congressman from Texas. His name is Al Green, and obviously he is on the Democratic side. Trump had said something about winning unanimously across the board, how he won the popular vote. And this man stood up and said, you did not win and you do not have a mandate. And what we later found out is that he was saying you don't have a mandate to cut off Medicaid or some of these other things, because through Doge, Trump has been finding a lot of wasteful spending that's been authorized by Congress and the prior administration. Things like funding transvestite or transgender operations and in other countries and DEI initiatives. He's been drastically cutting off funding for some of those things. This man stands up and he misconstrues it to say, well, you don't have a mandate to cut off any funding related to Medicaid. And in that moment, he took a stand. He was standing there in a way that was showing him protesting Trump and what he said in his speech. But what I took offense to is the fact that why did the black guy have to be the guy who did that? The black guy had to be the guy who stands up in a place where you're supposed to show some decorum. I understand you may not like Trump. He may not be your cup of tea, right? But there's a way to still be respectful of the fact that you're a person you don't agree with is speaking, and for you to give the man the respect of the office that he just won. To be in a situation like that where you have to be censured or essentially pulled off the stage simply because you don't know how to act, I think that's embarrassing. And quite frankly, I just think there was better ways that he could have gone about that. So for that particular clip, I would say that I was not a big fan of Al Green interrupting the president like that. I think it just showed a lack of good etiquette, and it just was distasteful to me. When I saw it. And to be honest, this was televised live, both online and on television. And for a man to embarrass us like that, I thought it was crazy. So I wasn't a big fan of him grandstanding like that. And so, it caused a lot of conversation, and a lot of, things took place. With regards to people saying when Trump was rude to him, or he wasn't treated fairly, but I just thought it was not a good look. So that's my view on that one. Let's continue.
I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president. Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. but we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal. We are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
So there you have it. That was 5 key points from Donald Trump from the meeting last night. Just to summarize, he said that he's cracking down on immigration, and that was something that got out of control under the Biden administration. Over 21 million people migrated into the country in over 4 years. There was all sorts of payments being put in for them to stay at fancy hotels in different places. They were flown to different places. And this was all done to kind of create a new voting pool for the Democrats to tap into. And apparently Trump is cracking down on that. Then he went on to talk about the end of wokeism, calling a man and a woman, saying that there is no such thing as a man who can have a baby. There's only 2 genders, saying that that he's going to bring legal action against people who do transgender surgeries and mutilate the bodies of children. I think those are all sound things that any common, logical person would find to be sensible. And so that was one of the things he said. The end of wokeism was a big applause point for him. Then he talked about, tariffs. I think Trump has been very vocal about other countries that claim to be allies and friends of ours taking advantage. Some of those countries charge us an exorbitant amount of tariffs when we ship products into their markets, but we don't necessarily charge them tariffs. So as you saw there, he talked about implementing reciprocal tariff arrangement, where if they charge us a tariff when we send products to their market, we will do the same. I think that's meant to sort of motivate companies to move to the U.S. to do business here, create jobs here, so that people don't have to incur the higher costs of buying those products because of the tariffs that's being applied to them. And then he also talked about, ending wars. He talked about, I think for those who've been following, he ended the funding to the Ukraine-Russia war, and he's trying to get everybody at the table to resolve the matter, and so that we're not funding a war that can be endless and cost us an exorbitant amount of money. I think Trump did a good job in the speech, and hopefully he is making a lot of enemies. Hopefully he's able to accomplish those things that he set out to do. And that wraps up this segment. We are changing the topic. We're talking about relationships. And this is one of those conversations where the Godfather, the late, great Kevin Samuels, speaks and tries to advise a modern woman who is seeking help in landing a high-value man. So without any further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. How tall are you?
I'm 5'4" 3/4.
Your size?
I'm a small. I'm probably maybe a 1-2.
Okay. And if you ranked yourself, honestly, if you ranked yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you
10.
do? Yeah, let's get back to reality.
No, I'm in reality.
No, you're not in reality.
I'm
You're
in
not a 10.
reality.
You're not in reality. If you're gonna be a 10, we can end this because that's not reality. You're not a supermodel.
So what are you
You're
betting?
not okay, man.
Check
Check the attitude. Let me just go ahead and say this. This bullshit that's running around with black women, they call yourself a 10, never say you don't. That is some of the most destructive psychobabble that's going around. Black women, you need to be more humble. And you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That's not humility.
Well, for one, I know that I was made in God's image, and
God knows he's not perfect, ma'am.
Right.
So everybody's a 10.
I'm not gonna get up here and call myself a 4 or a 2 because I'm definitely
well, let me. If you're gonna tell me you're a 10, you're a 10.
I'm a Christian woman. I'm
No. I said physically. You can be a Christian woman, but this.
Yeah, physically, I'm beautiful.
You're physically a 10. Then what is Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, Rihanna? What are they?
Whatever they consider themselves to be.
See, this is that bullshit, y'all. This is when I start to get upset because you ladies say you want help. But then when you start getting into it, your ego gets into it. Put your dick up.
It's not, honestly, Kevin.
This is bullshit. You're not a 10.
You can go to my Instagram now and you see
You're
that's how
not
I carry
a
myself.
10. Okay, you can. I don't care how you call yourself. A 10 is supermodel looks.
Okay.
Are you
I'm far from ugly, honey.
I didn't say that.
So
you made this combative, man. If you really want to say you're a 10, that's fine. But show me what the model contracts are.
I don't want to be a model.
I didn't ask you whether you want to be a model or not.
Somebody asked me today.
But you're not. But man, you're not But you're not that. Come on.
Okay. Well, you said show me where the model contract. Somebody asked me today. Oh, do you model?
Let's try this. Let's try this again. Where would you honestly rank yourself?
I just told you.
A 10.
Yeah. No. Maybe to you I'm not, but beauty's in the eye.
No. So you're a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any women that are higher?
Are you saying I'm not? Tell me why I'm not.
No. I'm asking you. No. I'm asking you.
Tell me why I'm not.
No. You're not questioning. See, you're on my. So you mean to tell me that there are no women that are more attractive than you?
What?
I'm asking.
It's hard.
If you're a 10, that means you're at the top.
It's like I'm not.
If you're a 10, that means you're at the top.
If I'm a 10,
an A plus, a 100 on a test is as high. No.
No woman.
Back it down.
No, I'm telling you.
Back it down. A 100 on a test is as high as you can go. It's a perfect grade. You're saying you're a 10, a 100 on the test. Are you saying that there's nobody who scores higher than you on looks? You're in the top percentile worldwide.
Possibly, honestly, but it doesn't matter to me. No other woman I'm intimidated by, not one. I'm not. Maybe by the world standards, I'm not, because I'm darker. You know, I don't know what's the reason.
That's bullshit.
I don't know.
See, that's the thing that I always say. Thank you for saying it. Thank you. I knew we were going to get to it eventually. Eventually, we were going to get to the colorism argument. And see, the problem is, man, when you women walk around with this inflated estimation of yourself, life tells you what lane you're in, whether you want to admit to it or not.
So are you saying colorism doesn't?
No, I'm not going down first off, I'm not going down the colorism path because I'm saying that if you were a dime, you'd be gone by now. Because dimes get taken like that.
Possibly, or treasure is hidden.
Okay.
Treasure is hidden.
Again, this is what goes on. She's still gonna die on this hill. Because it's about my ego. I'm not, and I've listened to many black women parrot this stuff, especially after that Average at Best video. I've heard women tell women, you should never say this, you should never say that. And you know what? The only people y'all are hurting is yourself. Honestly, I asked you just to move the conversation, but you've decided to make it about, I'm up here. And it's because of what I think of myself. Okay. But what you think of yourself and what the world sees are two different things. I am very sorry to inform you and other women. There are women that are prettier than you.
Okay.
And if you say you're a 10, that means you are up there with the prettiest of the pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And then you should have the results to show it.
Possible.
Not possibly. You should have the results to show it.
It's
And the
exception
fact
to
that she's
rule.
going to continue. And here's the thing. This is one thing that I would say is so wrong with so many black women. They will not relent. They will shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. They will do this until they die. It's like locking on. It's just the ego. This is the masculine ego of many women today. They cannot.
So you will be
This is a
satisfied
psychological
if I said I
block.
was
This
a
is a
two?
psychological block with a lot of these. Like I can't say anything less. Even though you know damn well that this over here. See, I know that there are men that are more attractive than me. I know men that I'm more attractive than. But I would never ever think to call myself a 10 because I know I'm not a 10. I knew at my best I was never a 10. I knew that. But see, men get an accurate estimation of ourselves. That's why so many of you ladies got triggered. That's why that video went viral. Average at best, die alone. Because so many women think that you should get something higher than you are. And then when asked, even a woman in that video said, I would have gave myself so-and-so. Okay, you can all say what you want, but the world reflects back what it is. We attract what we are. And if you've never dated 10s, guys at that high level, if they're not knocking down your door, you're on Instagram, right? If they're not trying to marry you, wife you, that's not where you are. You can call it whatever you want to. You can have 10 energy all day long, but that's not it.
Okay, Kevin. Okay.
I'm not saying this to hurt you. I'm just saying. I just don't understand why so many women.
You can't hurt me.
Oh, well, I'm not trying to, and there's nothing to be gained from it. What I'm doing is I'm showing that this is why I say therapy is so necessary, because this is beyond delusion. Everybody's not a 10. Every woman does not get a high value man. Every woman doesn't deserve a high value man. Your mama got average, and mama built a life. You women who think you're 10s, think you deserve a high value man, are dying alone. Because you have no relationship skills.
Paul said, "Spare me the problems of married people." So if that's what,
see, then they want to go to the Bible. So to all you women that were running around telling women to say, you never rank, when somebody asks you to rank yourself, you always say you're a 10, face 10, this 10. You ladies are part of the problem.
Okay, that was Kevin Samuels right there, talking to a young lady, trying to advise her about her estimation of herself. Now, this is probably a controversial one. Obviously, I think everyone should have a healthy self-esteem. I think you should think that you are attractive enough to, get a person that you can share your life with. I don't blame the young lady for thinking that she is attractive, but I think what Kevin was trying to speak to is the delusion sometimes of women, where they feel as if they are perfect. And I think the lesson there is that we all have to humble ourselves, not just young women, but men as well, right? We all have to humble ourselves and take inventory of where we are. His point was the women who are viewed as 10 tend to have a lot of opportunities that most women don't. They're supermodels, essentially, right? A beautiful woman will be sorted out. What people are going to try to get them gigs, modeling or television, or they're going to be invited to events. There's an access that those women get that not all women get. And I think there is a group of women who choose to be delusional about that type of stuff. There are a group of women who's 100 pounds overweight and they think they're a 10. Meaning there is nothing to change about them because they're at their peak level. And I think the irony of the situation is, if this young lady was as attractive as she thinks she is, why would she be seeking relationship advice from a guy online? Why doesn't she have a plethora of high value men to choose from? So the issue is, if you actually were what you thought you were, then you should be in a different place. But the facts are she's not. And I think Kevin was trying to help her see maybe your estimation of yourself is a little too inflated and you need to tone it down a little bit. And the greater point is, when such truths are revealed to women, it's not always well received, especially to Black women, because to Kevin's point, they have to be right and they have to win the argument. You know, there is no room for them to be wrong on that particular topic. And I'm not saying it's all, because there's a lot of exceptions to the rule. There are some women who are not like that, but there are a good majority of the women who do think that they can't be corrected. There isn't any input that they can take that's going to change their mind about anything. And that was just an example of a young lady who felt like that. And I think Kevin was trying to humble her and say, look, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm myself am not a 10. I understand that there's men that's more attractive than me. I have a healthy understanding of who I am and where I am, so that I don't think that I'm above reproach and that there isn't some sort of growth that I can attain. And I think that's the point he was trying to make. Now, that conversation ended up going viral because he probably was attacked by a lot of women who felt like he was picking on the young lady. But I don't think that's where the heart was, by my estimation of what I saw. With that said, you know, I would definitely encourage all people to have a healthy self-esteem, know that you matter and you belong, and that you are worthy of someone, but also don't be delusional in your estimation of yourself. Don't be too pompous, and temper it down a bit, especially when life humbles you. All right, that was the end of that segment. Welcome back to the Intercourse Show. In the next segment, we are discussing another topic of interest. This has been trending in social media for some time now. It has to do, again, with the presidential address yesterday with Donald Trump. It seems as if the left, Rachel Maddow, she's a host on MSNBC, was extremely critical of a gesture that President Trump did for a young 13-year-old man who's battling with brain cancer. And it seemed as if, you know, the young man's dream was to be a police officer. So Trump not only arranged for that to happen, but he also made the young man an honorary member of the Secret Service. This is a kind gesture, you know, to show the young man to have something to fight for as he's battling brain cancer. Now, he's been fighting it for 5 years, and it's visible on him. And everyone in the room clapped except for the Democrats. Now, a lot of the Democrats are saying that this was used as a stunt to exploit this young man's condition, not as a kind gesture to, you know, show some love to the young man. And it's causing up a stir. And apparently Rachel Maddow had a take. Her opinion was that Trump was essentially exploiting the young man, and it seems like her viewers didn't necessarily see it the same way. With that said, let me share this clip, and we can discuss it.
I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters.
This was a really beautiful moment. There's a kid by the name of DJ Daniel. Turns out he had brain cancer, and he has wanted to be the police officer. And, well, you saw it already. Here's Donald Trump giving an honorary Secret Service badge to this beautiful young man.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
I feel like this was a real moment. A young man asked to have the man who made him to have the secret service. He hugged him, and you could tell it was it's a hot warming moment. And everyone was cheering him on. I was moved by it. Unfortunately,
I mean, if that doesn't melt your heart, like if you don't get chills up your spine, even having seen that already, like that hug, that moment, right? Like it's just so great and it's real. And what you had there were a whole bunch of decent people. Unfortunately, they were all Republicans because the Democrats did not applaud for that kid. Applauding just an absolutely beautiful moment, a kid who's surviving brain cancer, the hug, like it was just, look, I know it's theater in some sense, right? But sometimes some real things happen within that theater. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment. Rachel Maddow was less enthused about DJ.
For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who's thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that. This was in the midst of him praising Doge. The Doge cuts, among other things, have cut off funding for ongoing research into pediatric cancer.
She is so, I'll try to control myself, effing vile and disgusting.
Agreed.
That was such a beautiful moment. And if your brain is so broken and you are so partisan, when something like that happens, that beautiful hug right there, that kid, like that's real. That's actually real. We're consistently smashed with fakery. That's what you people offer us all the time. We see something real. Donald Trump didn't take credit for saving the kid. Donald Trump didn't take credit for the 13 surgeries. There was a nice moment up there. And as you guys know, had it been Biden doing the exact same thing, she would have said it was the greatest thing ever. And this has nothing to do with Doge or anything else. It continued though. If you think MSNBC is vile, I mean they really topped themselves last night. Watch Nicole Wallace here. I'm gonna tip you off a little bit. She's gonna start making sense, and then well, you just keep watching.
I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel, and I let myself feel joy about DJ, and I hope he's alive for another 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
Evil, 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 evil. I'm not going to relitigate January 6th right now. Absolutely evil. The fact that she was making sense, but that you people have become such broken-brained, awful partisan hacks that was your takeaway. That was your real takeaway. Yeah, I wanted to live a long life, but awful, horrible people.
I gotta agree with him. I think she's not exactly a great person for making that point. Misconstruing what should have been a fair moment, even if you don't like Donald Trump, right? The fact that he would take time out of his day to acknowledge this young man who he doesn't have to do that for. He made for at least 3 to 5 minutes the conversation and the praise being about that young man who's beating his fight with cancer. He gave him some reason to hope that he can continue to live and fight, to live his dream to be a police officer. And he did a kind gesture. But again, it goes against the narrative that this man's a racist. It goes against the narrative that this man is no good. He's a fascist. He's all these things that these people say. But I think it's so evident that really, when you can't see good in something like that, you really are in a dark place. Like something's not right with you. You are the problem, right? You don't wake up and see anything positive when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror. You are just a despicable human who can't even find some solace in that. And to be honest, I'm very disappointed in some of the Democrats who couldn't even clap for that moment. I understand you may be taking the stands against everything else that Donald Trump is doing, but that moment was not about Donald Trump at all, which is rare for him. I mean, the dude likes to brag about himself and his accomplishments, but that moment was just doing something for a kid who's fighting and winning cancer. If there was ever a time for everybody to stand up and cheer in unison, it would have been that moment. The father was holding the kid up. You could tell that he was proud that his son had a reason to fight another day. He had hope. And somehow you're going to deprive the kid and change the narrative to be something else. It's just outright evil. I'm with Dave Rubin on this one, that these people are not good people. And it's unfortunate because I used to really like Rachel Maddow back in the days of Joe Scarborough, and I used to like him, and then somehow, someway these guys took a turn somewhere else where they just became fanatics on the weirdest things. And it's just so weird. I don't get it. I mean, it's a lot of hatred that you have for somebody that you can't even see a good moment. But that's where these folks are. I can't associate myself with them. I pray that, like Joy Reid, she too sees the curtain call and gets cut off the air because it's time. Okay, on another note, obviously we've talked about some serious things, some not so serious things, some sad things, some lighthearted things. Now we're gonna make another shift onto something a little bit more lighthearted. For those who are not aware, there is this series online called Pop the Balloon. It's a dating show that allows people to find love, and of course, the great Dave Chappelle had to do an SNL skit kind of making fun of that process. And I was able to find some footage of that. It's about 3 minutes long. I think it's a lighthearted way towards lighting up the mood a little bit. I wanted to share that and maybe even comment on that whole process. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Girls pop their balloons for the dumbest things, like the most trivial things they'll pop. They've done like a guy's hat. They popped. He was too short, even though they're like 5 feet nothing. And the guy's 5'10", but he's not 6'3". So they pop their balloon because they want to feel small in front of their man. Or maybe the guy's a little too chill and they want him to be a bit more vibrant. They'll pop. Like they just pop for whatever reason. So that was a funny way of them depicting what actually happened. That's how I go down sometimes. The guy who is the good guy, good job, soft-spoken, seems like he's a serious person, tend to get popped right away because maybe they're a little too corny, too lame. But sometimes the guy who's a bit more edgy, don't have as much going for himself, tend to get the balloons unpopped. It's literally how the Pop the Balloon series goes, and really, in some instances, how dating is today. Right? A lot of people that you would think should be paired up are not. That's because dating's not fair. You just got to know how to do it. But let's continue. Dave Chappelle. Before that clip, your man, it was actually mimicking a real dude who's a music producer with social media following on Instagram. He came on with a briefcase and everything, kind of looking like that, had the Coming to America outfit and everything. And I don't know that he rubbed everybody the right way, so they all popped right away. That was a good depiction of what actually happened in that show. All right, there he is, Dave Chappelle, the great. I thought this was a good little clip to end on a lighter note. I thank y'all for joining the show. Of course, we got to wrap up with the music corner. There's been a different bit of vibe right now that went through. Obviously, we talked about politics. We talked about relationship. We had a little comedy in there. I think it's always good to, to do the music corner. And the music corner is essentially when Mr. B finds great freestyles online that he thinks the people who love music, hip hop, and things of that nature would like. So some of them are from upcoming artists. Others are from established artists. But I think it's always a good lighthearted way to appreciate people's skills. So we're going to jump into that next. Okay, so we're jumping right into it. This time we're doing a freestyle from what I think is a great slept-on lyricist. His name is Eric Jamal. He's part of a group. I'm not sure if they've gotten signed yet, but I know these dudes are very talented, very talented. And, I found them online some time ago, and I like their music. So definitely got to support. Here we go.
I used to want to be a gangster until my homie got popped. I used to want to be a drug dealer until I seen they always getting caught. I used to want to be a pimp too, ooh, but then I felt love. When I heard I could be anybody, I start running from who I was.
Like damn, I don't know who I am. Not too many role models in my fam. Uncle Sam came, took my green eggs and ham. On my knees praying to God like, amen. I don't want to have to go put a gun in hand and do the running man for robbing for finance. Go blam, blam, another young man dead. Don't understand how we allow this to happen. Another boy killed over beef, we like lamb. Slaughtered by police and people with my skin. In Philadelphia, everyone Jersey is Cunningham. At 12, you understand 21 is your lifespan. See, bygones can't be bygones, they just go bygones. I try to teach them how to excel. They think too micro, they only see as far as their windows. I think they eyes closed, they rather go by Jordans. I wanted to be like.
I used to want to be a kid.
Fire. This dude's very talented. I definitely would say support him, Eric Jamal. Very talented guy. Again, I thank you guys for joining me for the show today. Obviously, we went a little long and kind of covered different topics, but I do appreciate y'all hanging in there with me. So when you get a chance, make sure you like and subscribe and lend your voice to the conversation. All right? Signing off, Mr. B. God bless.